If you watch Mushoku Tensei, you're a P-file and you sicken me. But not really, because I watch the show and I like it, and it's completely clickbait start, but come on, that's basically what people are saying Mushoku Tensei fans are, and it's kind of a bit bad. The fact that so many people are demonizing the fanbase of Mushoku Tensei is kind of insane, because at its core, Mushoku Tensei is a fantastic show. There's a lot to love about the show. I believe it is the best isekai that we have ever gotten in anime form. I'm not talking about light novel, manga, anything like that. I'm a purely anime guy. I believe it is the best isekai anime we have. And it's kind of crazy that so many people hate on it, and yet it is still kind of up there on the Mal list. But at the end of the day, it is a great show. And I believe more people should watch it, but a lot of this hate and everything going towards people who watch it and just the show in general, I feel like is kind of deterring other people. And so let's talk about it. Most people's biggest pet peeve or critical thing on Mushoku Tensei is the main character, Rudeus. This guy is sick. Like, actually sick. Not cool sick, sick. He does some awful things in his past life and in his new life, and that is the point of the show. He is a bad person. You're supposed to not like him. If you like Rudeus, you are weird, okay? And this is coming from a huge Mushoku Tensei fan. If you like Rudeus and the things he does, you are weird. He is a very flawed person with awful characteristics and does awful things, and the author intends you to not like him because he needs to grow and develop. He is super messed up, okay? And I could make an hour-long rant about why Rudeus is the way he is. At the end of the day, I'm not defending him. And if you don't like the show because of Rudeus, I understand, but I also think that's not fair. You shouldn't not like a show because of the actions of a character, even if it is the main character, okay? And I think that Mushoku Tensei is unfairly portrayed that way when you look at every other type of media, and there's similar things there. But because this is anime, because it's super popular and everything, and you kind of see him in his past life and he looks really ugly, this is another thing where ugly people are automatically assumed to be creepier. Case in point. But that's totally besides the point. I made a video a while ago on my TikTok talking about how if you looked at other pieces of media, how it would affect the piece of media if you looked at it in the same lens as people look at Mushoku Tensei. So for argument's sake, let's look at something like the big shonens, like Naruto. If you looked at Naruto the same way you looked at Mushoku Tensei, Naruto supports child soldiers, okay? They're training up their children to go fight in wars and go die and fight and all this stuff as kids. That's child soldiers. So if you watch Naruto, then you're supporting child soldiers and you think that's good. Obviously that's not true. You're not supporting anything. You're just watching a show that has something in it, but that is how people look at Mushoku Tensei. Or let's look at a real life example, like a real RAL show. I don't know why I said real life, but let's look at any type of vampire show, okay? The Vampire Diaries, the originals, even Twilight, I think. But if you look, the vampires are old, okay? Stefan and Damon in Vampire Diaries are like, what, 300? Klaus is 1,000, and they're dating high school girls. I would consider that a bit weird. But at the end of the day, they are hot guys, so it is a bit different, and it's an IRL show. Or even look at a documentary type series like Dahmer, where people are fantasizing about Jeffrey Dahmer. Is it Jeffrey Dahmer? I think it's Jeffrey Dahmer. Even though he does some really messed up things. In every true crime documentary, people are salivating over the next true crime documentary, but they're talking about real people who did some real heinous things, and that actually happened. Well, Mushoku Tensei is a Chinese cartoon. I love how I keep saying Chinese cartoon. It's a complete meme. I obviously know it's Japanese animation. It's completely different, but like the meme is funny to me still. But anyways, if you looked at any show the way you looked at that some people look at Mushoku Tensei, they're all going to come out bad. And at the end of the day, people are just super biased on shows they don't like because they portray certain things they don't like. But I don't believe that Rudeus doing these bad things should stop you from watching the show. If you're uncomfortable by it, I understand it. But you can A, skip through it, B, ignore it, C, kind of suck it up. Or obviously you don't have to watch the show, but to hate on people who do watch the show and do like it because of that, it's completely unacceptable. As much as I hate on anime fandoms and everything, I never believe that you should personally attack someone based off of the media they like, okay? If you like shonen action garbage, good for you. You're probably a toddler, but at the end of the day, you can like what you like, okay? Or if you like boys love, girls love, good for you. At the end of the day, like, I can shit talk all I want, but I'm never truly attacking the person who actually watches it. Those are all in good fun, but people seriously call other people P-files for like Mushoku Tensei, which is completely unacceptable. You shouldn't be doing that because, like, at the end of the day, they're most likely not. Of course, there are like probably a few, and there are probably a few who like other genres, but what are you supposed to do about that? Again, and I always need to make this abundantly clear, I am not defending Rudeus, the main character, the guy who everybody hates. I'm not defending him at all. The stuff he does is bad. The stuff he does in his past life is bad, and he is a bad person. I always have to clarify that, but that is true, okay? I believe that, okay? And as much as I defend Mushoku Tensei as a show, I will always stand by that. Is Rudeus growing as a character? 100%. Is he getting better? Like becoming a better person? For the most part, yeah. He still does some bad things. He still does some questionable things. But at the end of the day, he's getting better as a person, and he's developing as a character and a person in the show. Okay, I could go on a whole hour rant about that. I won't. Because there is so much depth and detail. If you look at him in his past life, he was a loner, a loser who was bullied. He was called fat. He got addictions to stuff and everything. And that's one of the things I love about Mushoku Tensei is that stuff carries over to the new life. Most isekai, the person has an awful life at the start. But then once they get reborn, they're like, oh, I'm reborn. I'm a perfectly fine person. I'm going to do all these things. Mushoku Tensei doesn't do that. It's a bit more realistic where it's like, hey, I have traumas and messed up shit from my past. That's going to carry over. Just because I got reborn doesn't mean that stuff is going to stop. I had social anxiety in my past life. I'm going to have that in my new life. I did messed up things in my old life. I'm probably going to have the same mentality in my new life. But he develops in his new life because he gains new experiences and everything like that. And that's a whole other thing. But at the end of the day, he is a bad person still. And he still does some unacceptable, unforgivable things. Some heinous things. Again, I need to hammering this point home. But it's still a fantastic show. Mushoku Tensei is an amazing show. And you should definitely watch it. If you see all the hate for all the people who like it, and if you see all the hate and all these people spreading stuff about what Rudeus does and everything, some of the stuff that people are talking about isn't necessarily like canon, as in like isn't really part of the true story. Also, just because the author writes something in the rough draft doesn't mean he supports it, likes it, or anything. He's just kind of trying to make the main character as bad as possible. Is the author a weirdo? Maybe. Who knows? But that doesn't really matter. He didn't do anything wrong by writing his character doing something messed up. I mean, I guess it's different because he's the main character, and that's a lot of people's arguments, but I don't think it should be different. Because at the end of the day, a character is a character. At the end of the day, it's all fiction. People support people who do terrible things in real life, but this is fiction, and people are spreading so much hate. Anyways, moral of the story. Mushoku Tensei is a fantastic show. Stop hating on people for liking it. Stop calling them P-files. That's always unacceptable, and I never condone any of that. And if you were to look at any other show, like people look at Mushoku Tensei, they all turn out bad. Name a show. Name any show, and I can make it sound bad if you look at it through the same lens that people look at Mushoku Tensei. I'm serious. Try me. Comment down below any type of show, any type of media, anything, and I will make it sound bad like people do to Mushoku Tensei. You may think like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as this. Any type of bad thing is bad. People were saying that like, oh, Child Soldiers isn't as bad as P-File, where it's like, they're both awful and shouldn't be accepted. Like, I don't understand the point of that, but okay. I don't know, another rambly video, but at the end of the day, I just like to defend the shows I like because they are fantastic shows, and I hate to see people discouraged from watching the shows because they see hate for the fandom or hate for the show that isn't necessarily justified. Okay, you should watch the shows that you think look interesting, and Mushoku Tensei is a super interesting, super well-written, well-animated, well-created show, and most people should check it out. Most of the hate is coming from people who, A, haven't seen all of it, and probably only saw like an episode or two, or from people who just never have seen it and just hear about it on TikTok or about YouTube or anything. But yeah, you should watch Mushoku Tensei, and you should also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Leave a like, comment. I'm serious. Comment any show, any piece of media, and I will make it sound bad. I promise you, I will do that to every single comment. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how you like this new setup. This is probably going to be the last video in this setup for a little bit. But yeah, I can remake this setup, update it and everything if you guys are liking this type of video. Or I can change up the whole type of video in general. This is more of like a rambly, personal type thing. It's basically like a 10-minute podcast, but, you know, just me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. and I'll catch you in the next one later.